welcome to my TBR video for this coming month, and I will not be telling you about these books. These are the books that I have been reading since last month, or maybe even the month before, and most of them are like 50% finished or 95%, and I just don't want to talk about them all again because I talked about them in my last video, which was my July wrap-up. So let's just put these aside for now. If you want to know more about them, I have them on my currently reading list over at Goodreads. And what I'd like to talk about today is some books that I would like to read in the near future, hopefully this month or maybe soon thereafter. And these are the books that I want to talk about. Oops, I'm losing them. Come back, books. Okay. These are the books. Now you see why I don't usually stack up my books and show them to you, because I'm not very good at this. But here we are with a pile of books that I would like to read soon. Plus there's a few that are digital. First I want to talk about The Elephant in the Room. It is a chunker, 650 pages, a little bit more than that actually. And this is my book for the booktube spin, one of them, and I haven't started it yet, but I hope to start it this month. And I probably won't finish it this month because it's really thick and I have other books to read too. So John Jakes wrote this California Gold, and of course I want to read it because I live in California and I love to read about California, and so that's definitely on my reading list for this month. Now there are two books that are digital on my list. One of them is for the A Year in Mitford read-along at BookTube, and I have been doing that read-along along with the other people in the group for 7 months now, and the 7 books that I have already finished are At Home in Mitford, The Light in the Window, These High Green Hills, Out to Canaan, A New Song, A Common Life, and In This Mountain. So the 8th book in the series is what we're going to be reading in August, and it just happens to be a Christmas book called Shepherd's Abiding. And I have started reading it. I'm about 2 chapters in right now, and I'm enjoying it despite it being a Christmas themed book. And I actually got a little behind last month when we were reading In This Mountain, and I had been reading it on Kindle. I've been reading them on Kindle for several months now, and I've decided to go back to audiobook for this month just because I want to get it over with quickly, and I know if I read an audiobook I'll go fast, and so Shepherd's Abiding is an audiobook, and then after that I have one other audiobook that I have planned to read, and that is Christy by Catherine Marshall. It is a Christian fiction. It's an older book. I'm not sure what year it was published, but it's not new. It's about a 19-year-old girl who goes to a North Carolina town in the Smoky Mountains to become a school teacher, and she's struggling for acceptance in the town. So I have been wanting to read this for a long time, and I keep reading reviews of people who say they read this frequently, or one person said that she reads this book every single year because she loves it so much. And I can't even imagine reading a novel every single year. I might read parts of the Bible every year, although I'm not a Bible in a year type person. But I do read sections of it over and over again. But to read a novel every single year, that is so not me. But if somebody feels that way about it, I would really like to know what the novel is like. So I'm going to read it. And those are my 2 digital books. The rest are paperbacks. I'm getting into paperbacks, and I like them quite a lot. So One of the books that I'm planning to read is Whittington, and it is about a cat who is living in a barnyard, and he is going to tell a story to the barnyard animals. So this is like a story within a story. I'm really looking forward to it. Now this was a Newbery Honor book. Excuse me while I go look what year it was an honor book so I can tell you. I think it's 2004. Right, 2006. This was a 2006 Newbery Honor book, and I just can't hardly wait to read this. I've been wanting to read it for a long time, and I finally got myself a copy, and I think this cat is beautiful. So I'm reading that book and the rest of these books for the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. Well, most of these books that I'm going to show you now. That one was for a Pop Sugar Reading Challenge prompt to read a book with a cat on the cover. And then this one I was going to read a few months ago, mentioned it in a video, and then I never ended up reading it, although it's really a thin book, so it shouldn't take me very long. This is for a Pop Sugar Reading Challenge prompt to read a book from the 1990s, and it is The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky, a coming-of-age novel. The next one I was also going to read, same story, didn't get around to it. This is for a Pop Sugar Reading Challenge prompt to read a book about forgetting, and this is a middle grade novel, and the boy hits his head and cannot remember anything after that, so he has to restart his life. The next one is for a Pop Sugar Reading Challenge prompt in which I was supposed to look at somebody else's bookcase and pick out one of their books to read. So I sort of intentionally went to the bookcase of Krista, who is at the Books and Jams channel, because I know that she likes to read Newbery books, and I have this goal to read all the Newbery medal books and honor books. So I looked on her bookshelf for a Newbery book that I had not yet read, and I saw this one, Dead End in Norvelt, which was a Newbery Medal winner in 2012, and I am planning to read this book. I had to go to Amazon to see what it was about, and apparently it is about a boy who is grounded at the beginning of the summer because he's apparently done something wrong, and then his mother decides to loan him out to a neighbor, and the neighbor is needing help writing obituaries. So this is actually supposed to be humor, and the novelist Jack Gantos also used his name for the boy in the story, so I think this is probably semi-autobiographical. The next book on the list is called The Headless Cupid, and I'm reading this for the older cover actually. The prompt, the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge prompt, is to read a book with something broken on the cover, which the older cover you can see has obviously got something broken on it. But the newer cover, it doesn't really show too well that something is broken, but maybe, I don't know. Anyhow, The Headless Cupid, it is about a family of children whose cousin comes to visit them, and they find out that she's involved in witchcraft. So that's coming right up, and it's one of the Newbery Honor books, so I really want to read it. This one is the Jewel of the Nile by Tessa Afshar. She is a Christian writer. However, this is not technically a Christian book. This is really classified at Amazon as an ancient history romance. So the main character, the woman in the story, is looking for her father, and all she knows about her father is that he comes from the kingdom of Kush. Now Kush means black, and she knows that her father is black. Obviously her skin is black, she's biracial. So she's looking for her father. That's pretty much what the book is about. That's really all I know about it, and looking forward to reading it. Now I'm reading this for a Pop Sugar Reading Challenge prompt to read a book that was published in 2021 this year, and brand new book, so I'm reading it. The last book on my list is for the Sisters in Christ book club at Goodreads, and they chose this book for this month, Just Open the Door by Jen Schmidt. And I would never have chosen this book on my own because it's about hospitality, and that's sort of the last thing on my mind these days. Back when I lived in Idaho, I was pretty hospitable, I guess you could say, because I had a women's Bible study meeting at my house every week. It wasn't my house, it was in a nice apartment that I was in. So they came to my apartment every week for the women's Bible study, and then also I had our small group meeting every week there. So hospitality was pretty easy back then, but since then I moved south. I bought a mobile home. My mobile home burned to the ground, and that was last September, and now I live in a travel trailer. And since I live in a travel trailer, I just feel totally crowded in here, and I don't have room for company. So I would never have chosen this book on my own, but maybe it'll inspire me so that when I get another home someday, if that happens, maybe I'll be able to be hospitable. Maybe I'll be inspired by this. I don't know. Maybe it'll give me new ideas about what hospitality would look like in my situation. Anyhow, so those are my reading choices for this month. I don't know how many I'm going to get to because, like I said, I had that other big stack of books to read, and so just do the best I can. I did make a decision because I had too many books on my reading list last month. I had about 14 books on my Goodreads currently reading file last month, and I decided to cut it down to 10. So now I have 10, and I won't add any more unless I get done with the books that are already there. So the only ones that I'm reading right now from this list are Shepherd's Abiding, and this Just Open the Door. I have read the introduction, and that makes 10 for now, and I won't add any more until I read some of the books that I'm already reading. So working on that pile over there. And that's all I have to say about my TBR for August 2021. Talk to you in another video.